Hi, this is Crystalaya with Tom Kane from FilmTVWorkshops.com. Thank you for coming here and interviewing with us today.
Pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about your entertainment past.
Wow, that's 37 years.
37. Well, I guess some of the highlights.
Sure. Well, I started as a baby, and then I moved up to production assistant, and then to production manager and assistant director, and then into producing.
Wow.
And in that time, I covered such movies. My first film was The Stepford Wives, the good one, the first one in 1974. And then I did Taxi Driver with De Niro and a guy called Scorsese.
My favorite movie of all time.
And then the Kramer versus Kramer.
Wow.
A three-handkerchief movie.
Awesome.
Right, on divorce. And then that was an assistant director, and then I became a production manager on Raging Bull, and Prizzi's Honor with John Huston and Jack Nicholson, and a bunch of westerns with people like Tom Selleck and Ed Harris.
Oh yeah, small actors there.
Just little
people.
Little shit like that.
So what took you away from that? I mean, is that something that you're still doing now, or?
No, at 66, I'm done.
You're done with productions and
it's too hard. And I think it should be done by young people. So what I do now is I teach it, and in the form of a film workshop that I give. It's a 3-day film workshop in which I travel the world, giving it in all kinds of countries, and I teach people how to once they have a screenplay finished, how to get it to market, what do you do with that? You've got 110 pages, and how you break it down, how you schedule it, how you board it, how you budget it, how you make it, and how you get it, how you cast it, whatever.
Right.
And so in 24 hours of intensive training, I teach them.
Yeah, because I don't think many people understand just the real process of actually bringing a screenplay to life.
Precisely.
Yeah, that's what you're kind of like outlining in your
Exactly.
workshop.
And the people in the audience are not only people who are interested in production and in producing or production managing or ADing even, but they're people they're actresses like yourself, and they're writers. It's a good idea that a writer understands how a movie gets made when it informs on his writing. It informs on an actor's acting.
Absolutely.
You know, Dustin Hoffman, who I spent too many hours with on Kramer, he can tell you from that lens if you're on a 50 millimeter where you're cutting. Okay, he can do the math.
Wow.
And then he knows that below his waist doesn't need to act, and so he puts all his energy above his waist. And
that's awesome.
So it informs on your work to know how a movie's made.
So you would advise anyone in the entertainment capacity that they do a workshop like that?
Yeah, actually, I would advise them to take my workshop.
Your workshop.
Because I really need the money. Just kidding.
Well, with 37 years of experience, is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think you know maybe a thing or two.
Yeah, just a few.
Just a few kind of secrets.
Right, and great stories.
And great stories. Is there anything, like really quick, any quick little quirky stories you have about any...
That's legal, that I can tell?
Something you can say and you won't be held accountable for.
Gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. I didn't anticipate that question.
I came out of nowhere. You're
supposed to have told me that question before we started.
That's how I like to come in. I like to go in from left field.
Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think of a clean one, and nothing's coming to mind right now. Except in Kramer, Justin Henry was 6 when we started, and he was 7 when we finished. And all the time that we were shooting that movie, Dustin, when off camera, would say to Justin, the 6-year-old, he said, "How much did you make this week?" And at the time, I think it was $608.50 was what scale was for an actor for weekly. So he would say $608.50, and he said, "Great. And what do you think your therapy is going to cost?"
That's great.
It's a typical Dustin story.
Unfortunate but true.
Unfortunate but true.
Okay, so what is the full website for people?
Oh yeah, it's www.filmtvworkshops.com.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.